Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Let's try that again. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We're getting ready to begin our tefillah, and I'd like to invite you to help us by turning off your phones. And I don't mean put them on silent. Put them on silent is like if you're on call, if you're an emergency room doctor, if God forbid someone near and dear to you is very ill, fine, put it on silent. But if that's not the case, just turn it off. It will make your phone happier, it will make you happier, and it will make your neighbor happier. There will just be fewer distractions. It'll be better because we'll be here for each other. Because what's so special about coming to temple, what's so special about being here is that we're here together. And think about it, you made it here. However far you came from, wherever it is that you had, whatever battles you had to get here tonight, you're here. The car is parked and we're together. And so I want to invite you all to please have a seat. I want to ask you to just very briefly say shalom to your neighbor. Say Shabbat Shalom to your neighbor. If it's someone you feel comfortable giving a handshake to, a hug, you can do that too. And now I want to invite you. Our opening tefillah is inspired by Psalm 145, which Cantor and I were talking about this earlier today. Is such a beautiful way to begin our Shabbat service because traditionally we would chant Psalm 145, Ashrei, as part of our Mincha service leading into Shabbat. And so here we are, and it's inspired by Cantor Lamb's favorite verse in the entire Ashrei prayer, Karov Adonai
l'chol korav asher
Yikra'uhu ve'emet.
Asher yikra'uhu ve'emet.
God is close to all who feel close to God, to all who cry out to God with truth and with love. And so the chorus, you'll just hear those words, you are, you are. It's about how close God is to us. And we invite you all to sing along when we get to our chorus and to just think about what it is to feel close to each other and to feel close to God.
Karov
One of the amazing things about community and what we depend on community for is for community to always be here for us and for us to be here for community. As we welcome Shabbat, we invite Lila Pitson to come and help us welcome the Sabbath evening. And we think about from generation to generation what it means to be able to have a community that is here for us and for which we are here. Let us welcome the Sabbath.
Come, let us welcome the Sabbath. May its radiance illumine our hearts as we kindle these candles for Sabbath. May the warmth of their glow peace impart. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. May God bless you with Sabbath joy. May God bless you with Sabbath holiness. May God bless you with Sabbath peace.
Page 12, L'chuna Ranana. From mountain to sea, hear our song. Le'unera nena, ya ya la la la, Adonai, ya la 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 la, Page 20, L'chadodi. We welcome the Sabbath bride. Page 20.
L'chadodi likrat kala Perei Shabbat nekavela L'chadodi likrat kala Perei Shabbat nekavela L'chadodi לקראת כלה, פני שבת, נקבלה לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת, נקבלה, שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. 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 לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Page 22, you can be seated, a psalm for the Sabbath day. Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat Tov Lehodot Ladonai. It is always good to give thanks to God, but it is especially appropriate on the Sabbath to think of all the things for which we are grateful. The embrace of community, a tradition 3,000 years old, the values of Torah that can inspire us and fill our hearts with joy and our lives with meaning. We give thanks for all these things, especially on this Yom Shabbat.
Mizmor shir, shir leyom ha-Shabbat. Mizmor shir, shir leyom ha-Shabbat. The whole world is waiting for Shabbat. The whole world is waiting for Shabbat. Tov lehodot l'Adonai ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות עלי עשור ועלי נבל עלי היגיון בכינור כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך במעשה ידך במעשה ידך ארנן מזמור מזמור שיר שיר ליום השבת מזמור מזמור שיר שיר ליום השבת צדיק התמר יפרח כארז בלבנון יזכה שתולים בבית אדוני בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו עוד ינובו בסבע דשנים ורעננים יהיו להגיד כי ישר אדוני צורי 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 ולא אבלה תבוא מזמור מזמור שיר שיר ליום השבת מזמור מזמור שיר שיר ליום השבת The whole world is waiting for Sabbath. The whole world is waiting for Sabbath. Lie, 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 Page 30.
Baruch atah
תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברוך וברוך שמו.
Page 32.
אהבת עולם, בישראל עמך אהבת. אהבת עולם, בישראל עמך אהבת.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be on your heart, shall be on your heart, your heart.
ואהבת את
And you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be on your heart, shall be on your heart, your heart.
ושיננתם לבניך
And you shall teach them to your children,
ודיברת להם
and you shall speak of them
בשבתך בביתך
when you are at home
ובלכתך בדרך
and when you are away,
ובשוכבך ובקומך
when you lie down and when you rise up,
וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
And you shall love Adonai your God with and these words which I
command you this day
shall be on your heart,
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 Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Page 40. We're in the part of our Torah cycle where we're telling the story of our redemption from Egypt. We imagine what it must have felt like to go forth from slavery. And this musical setting encourages us to think about the sense of awe and the sense of both wonder and horror when the Israelites come to the other side of the sea and they look behind themselves and they see the destruction, the chariots, the horses, the corpses of their enemies. And they're rejoicing and they're humbled. And there's a midrash that tells us that as the Israelites are dancing and singing, God cries out, "My creatures have died so that you could be free. Now's not the time to rejoice like that." It's a different kind of joy. We think of the narrow spaces of our lives, the narrow spaces of our experiences, how grateful we are to be on the other side. It's that kind of rejoicing that this Mi Chamocha celebrates.
Bye. שנאמר, כי ועדה אדוני את יעקב, וגלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני.
Baruch Baruch Shemo.
גל ישראל,
Hashkivenu prayer is on page 42. We ask God to make our evenings peaceful so that we can be renewed in the morning to go out and do the sacred work of making the world a better place for ourselves, our community, and our entire world.
Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, ve'ha'amidenu malkeinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, ve'ha'amidenu malkeinu lechaim.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת לעשות את השבת
offer a prayer of healing. Think of those in our community, in our families, in our homes who need our strength. And this prayer is a reminder to never take our own health for granted. And it's a reminder that our friends need our love and our support. And by reaching out to them, by calling them, by visiting them, by letting them know that they're not alone, no matter how difficult the journey is, we bring them strength. We bring them healing.
We pray for healing of the body. We pray for healing of the soul, for strength of flesh and mind and spirit. We pray to once again be whole. Please heal us now. Refuat hanefesh, urefuat haguf, refuat shlema. Please heal us now. Refuat hanefesh, urefuat haguf, refuat shlema. Heal us now. Heal us now. Heal us now.
Our Friday night Amidah is said silently. Please rise. Between pages 48 and 62, you'll find prayers of Amidah, prayers of praise, prayers of thanksgiving, prayers for peace. Please be inspired by the Siddur. Add your own prayers. You've had an opportunity to give thanks and to make wishes for yourself, for our community, for our world. You can be seated once again. page 258. We offer a prayer for our nation. Please read along with me in the middle of the page, words inspired by the prophet Isaiah. Think about what they can instruct us for the way we need to be good citizens in our city, in our state, in our country, today, thousands of years later. Together, thus says Adonai, this is what I desire, to unlock the fetters of wickedness and untie the cords of lawlessness, to let the oppressed go free, to break off every yoke. Share your bread with the hungry and take the wretched poor into your house. When you see the naked, give clothing and do not ignore your own kin. If you banish the yoke from your midst, the menacing hand, the evil speech, if you offer compassion to the hungry and satisfy the famished creature, then your light shall shine in darkness. A prayer for the state of Israel on page 259.
Avinu, Avinu, Sheba Shamayim, Sur Yisrael v'Golalo. Avinu, Avinu, Sheba Shamayim, Sur Yisrael v'Golalo.
Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen.
Avinu, Avinu, Sheba Shamayim, Sur Yisrael v'Golalo. Avinu, Avinu, Sheba Shamayim, Sur Yisrael v'Golalo.
Shabbat Shalom. So while bugs, snakes, and public speaking top the list of Americans' greatest fears, the fear of darkness rounds out the top 10. Particularly common in the under 10 set, the fear of darkness, both in kids and adults, turns out to be fairly logical and quite possibly biological. Turns out that the feelings of anxiety, uneasiness that we feel when the lights go out are probably a reflection of an evolutionary impulse to, stay safe. And in truth, researchers say what we know intellectually, there's nothing inherently frightening about the dark, but rather it's what the dark might be hiding. From an evolutionary standpoint, we wonder what might be lying in wait for us when we can't see. And even deeper than that, somewhere farther within, are two other predators, not animal, not vegetable, not mineral. Deep in the darkness, we are forced to confront vulnerability, and maybe even scarier, we're forced to confront ourselves. So this week, as Rabbi Yoshi mentioned, we turn ourselves to the story of Passover. And this week, Parashat Bo actually brings us the final 3 plagues, recited here not with drops of wine or little songs, but with fear and anxiety. Gone is my favorite funny frog song. Gone are the hail and the boils. Instead, night falls, and as our text reads, Adonai said to Moses, "Hold out your arm toward the sky, that there may be a darkness upon the land of Egypt, a darkness that can be touched." Moses held out his arm toward the sky, and thick darkness descended upon the land, all the land of Egypt for 3 days. People could not see one another, and for 3 days no one could get up from where he was. But the Israelites had light in their dwellings. Now, our sages are clear that this was no ordinary dark. This was not simply the dark of night where sun sets and night falls. No, they say this was palpable. This was a darkness that extinguished every light, an air so thick that not a single speck of light could get in. And even more frightening, the Torah says right out that it was a darkness so thick that people couldn't see one another. You couldn't see the person sitting snuggled up right next to you. You couldn't see the face of the one you loved most. How disorienting it must have been. For most of us, if we're lucky, sight is the sense that most shapes our everyday experience. It is the one that helps us determine our surroundings and place ourselves in context. And without it, we're left really with a lack of control and that deep sense of being vulnerable. So to dwell in this darkness, our text seems to teach us, is to be existentially lonely. Even surrounded by people in their houses full, the Egyptians were alone, unable to see the faces of their friends and family. So one of my favorites, the Talmud itself actually begins with a question, not surprisingly. It asks, Me'ematai korinat Shema ba'aravit, from what time can we start to say the Shema in the evening? But my favorite teaching comes a few moments later. Based on the assumption that we're to say the Shema morning and night, our rabbis wonder when is the right time to begin saying it in the morning. In other words, they're asking, when do we know that night has ended and day has begun? So first, their answer is that it's when you can distinguish between a skein of blue thread and a skein of white. No, they say, because even if it's dark, you can kind of tell which one is darker and which one glows a little brighter. Maybe it's that you can distinguish between one blue thread and one white one. No. Perhaps it's when you can distinguish between a wolf and a dog, or as I said, based on my commute the other day, a coyote or a dog. Maybe between a donkey and a wild donkey. No, they say, no, no, no. And then they come to this beautiful conclusion. They say, no, we know that the light has dawned when you can see someone's face, not even someone you know well, someone you've met a couple of times, an acquaintance, when you can see that person at a distance and recognize him or her. Light, that symbol of new beginning, a symbol of fresh start, light is defined as our ability to see someone else, to recognize his or her unique qualities, to honor him or her as an individual. Our Hasidic masters who taught on the verse of Torah about the darkness taught that it means that one who does not see their friends with a good eye can never rise up from the darkness. If we don't seek the faces of the other, if we don't look for those around us who need to be seen, perhaps our texts teach us we're destined to sit in this darkness, lonely and vulnerable. So I want to share a quick story with you. The same one, though albeit told a little differently, that I shared with our youngest students this morning. There will be fewer pratfalls this time around. Once upon a time, a man was walking along a dark road, fumbling his way, and up in the distance he saw a lantern and rushed to see who was carrying it, and to see if perhaps he could walk by its light. And as he got closer, it became clear that a blind man was carrying the torch, walking in the dark. So they struck up a conversation, walking together in the darkness. And after some time and some small talk, the man felt comfortable to ask the blind man this question that had really been bubbling up for some time. And he said, I don't know how to ask this politely, so I just need to know, are you blind? And the man said, I am. I have been from birth. I've never seen. Okay. So the man said, just one other question, though. There's not really a polite way to ask this one either, so why on earth are you carrying a lantern? And the man smiled and said, as long as I have this light in my hand, other people can see me and save me from falling. And as long as I'm carrying this light in the darkness, other people can see and save themselves. So we live in this world with more and more and more ways to actually contact each other, but I think fewer and fewer and fewer ways to actually connect. And we live in this world where everything we need is at our fingertips, but where I think we often feel actually more distant from one another. And we live in a world where everything is public, but less and less seems actually seen, at least in the deepest sense. We scroll through, we pass by, we scan quickly, but how often do we stop? How often maybe do we hear the answer when we ask, "How are you?" We like that post, but do we ever stop to ask the story behind it? Or what actually happened after that perfect picture was taken? I sometimes worry that in this age of ultimate enlightenment, we are some of us living in really deep darkness. So Baruch Halevi Epstein, who wrote Torah T'mima, asks, if Noah and his children, way back when, were promised that day and night will not cease, he says, how could there be the sort of darkness that our Torah describes? This darkness that seems to actually change the rules of creation. How, given that promise to Noah, could there be a world without daytime? And his answer, he says, darkness was not actually in the air, but in the eyes. Darkness, he says, was in the way the Egyptians looked at one another and in the way they understood their responsibilities or lack thereof to one another. In contrast, he teaches that's why we read the Israelites had light in their dwellings, that they recognized, like the blind man in our story, the needs and concerns of each other, the needs and concerns perhaps of the other. The darkness of this penultimate plague passes into the Leil Shimurim, the night that is guarded, the night in which our ancestors waited anxiously, waiting for their chance to be free. The darkness of this penultimate plague leads us to the light of freedom, the lightness to be Am Yisrael, to be Or L'Goyim, a light unto the nations. And the darkness of Egypt, our story of being unseen, leads us to know the heart of the stranger, to look for the humanity in those around us and to hear their cries and heed them. So may we, in our darkest moments, be seen by those close to us. May we always see the pain and the joy and the wholeness in those around us. And perhaps most of all, may we never be afraid of the darkness, because we should know that we can always find the light, and if we can't find it, we can always carry it. Shabbat Shalom.
From a distance, the world looks blue and green, and the snow-capped mountains white. From a distance, the ocean meets the stream, and the eagle takes to fly. Distance, there is harmony, and it echoes through the land. It's the voice of hope, it's the voice of peace, it's the voice of every man. From a distance, we all have enough, and
Cantor. Come. You know, our incredible cantors, our incredible musicians, our incredible vocalists, they make it look so easy. But Cantor, you've been coaching people in the art, the cantorial arts, and in voice for your entire life. It's not easy. It takes tremendous, it's a craft, and we take it for granted. And when we think of all the things that we are grateful for, I'm grateful for our music, and I'm grateful to you for helping make it all possible.
Thank you. You see, you can teach people voice. You can teach somebody how to use their voice, but what comes out of their heart, it's hard to teach. And so therefore, when you find people whose voices are attached to their souls, I don't care how old they are, and you find that and you nurture that, it moves you. And sometimes you can be moved. You hear something 1,000 times and you're moved by it. Sometimes you hear it once, and sometimes you've heard a song a zillion times, and then all of a sudden it jumps at you and it gives you some meaning. So I want to thank you. Your composition, I love your compositions. It was his Lahuna Ranan always.
Don't make this about me. I was making it about you.
I'll get back. I'll get back to me. Don't worry.
Thank you.
We have my dear colleague for 40 years sitting there, and this congregation, I'm proud to say, we've had rabbinic leadership that has made it so easy for good music to be done here, and encourage that. And good music is the revach, is the reward that we receive. One quick thing. It says in the morning, Elu Dvarim Shein Lahem Shiur. These are the things to which there is you cannot count the reward. And it says some of the revach some of it will be Ba'olam Hazeh, in this world, and in the Olam Haba, in the world to come. But every single Friday night we feel it, on Shabbat, we have a taste of the Olam Haba right here. And so we want to thank you, because without you, without a kahal, a kihila kedosha, there is nothing. So I have a candy in my mouth because I was hungry.
You're taking care.
We're going to time for the Kiddush.
We're going to invite, thank you, Cantor. We're going to invite people who have smachot to share them. If you have a birthday last week, this week, stand up. Let us wish you a happy birthday. Stand up if you had a birthday. I know somebody did. Somebody will. Who's got a birthday? Kate, is it your birthday? Next week. David, Kate's had a birthday last week. We have a birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. We have an anniversary, 30th anniversary. Rick, Janine, 30, and whose birthday? And it's Rick's birthday. Happy birthday. The best birthday gift you ever got was Janine. We all know that. Happy birthday. Terry, happy birthday. Are there any other simchas? A new job, something good? Yes. Whose? Happy birthday. Let's all rise and let's celebrate the simchas in each other's lives with these words of Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Thank you. 282, there is a version of the Untitled Chapter prayer that is so joyous, and it's by Ami Aloni, and I think you probably commissioned it, Cantor.
I did.
I love it. And if you kind of want to shuffle and move, you just have to, because there's so much joy.
משתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הגדול
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא, 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 יהיה אדוני אחד. ביום ההוא, 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 יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
There are these moments of exaltation in our service, and there's moments of memory, and there's moments of joy, and there's moments of sadness. And there are people in our kahal, people in our congregation who are returning from houses of mourning. If you are in the first 7 days of mourning, the period of Shiva for a loved one or friend, please rise now. If you're in the first 30 days of mourning for a loved one or friend, please rise now. If it's your first year of mourning, please rise. And if tonight marks the yard site, the anniversary of the death of a loved one, please rise. If you care to, please say your loved one's name aloud. We can say it all together as we recall those who animate our lives and give meaning to our lives. I want to invite all of you to rise in solidarity with our mourners on page 294. Let's give thanks to God for the gift of the lives we miss. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbi, v'alma divarach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'zman kariv, v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbi mevarach le'alam ulamei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha barichu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata ta'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav Huyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the one who makes peace in the high places make peace for us here on earth, for us in all Israel and all humanity. And let us say, Amen. Please be seated. It's an honor to invite Frank Ponder, a member of our board of directors, to share words of greeting and welcome and tell us about a few special events in the life of the congregation. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
If I'm reading here, it says my name is Frank Ponder, but you already know that. I want to thank you for all joining us tonight, and would like to invite you to come up and introduce yourselves to myself or to the rabbis, the Cantors, and they're the rabbis. There's the Cantor. There's another Cantor. Okay. And I just want to give a big thank you to the clergy. They're fantastic. And Nate, you're doing a good job in bringing up Lila. And also I want to thank Rabbi Yoshi, Maestro David, Cantor Emma, wherever you went. Oh, there you are. And Rabbi Sari. And especially the backup. Let's see, I got the names, I think. Sarah, Whitney, and Jessica. Good. Some things coming up of very exciting interest. They're in your little brochure here. But tomorrow, instead of your Shabbat nap, come here at 2 o'clock. We're going to have many of the song leaders and musicians, composers who have been an essential part of the URJ camp movement and helping identify and to celebrate their songs and voices. And part of it is to help the Camp Newman, which was destroyed in the recent Santa Rosa fires, where thousands of kids have gone every summer. And it's a very important institution for us. And also, if you haven't had enough of Rabbi Yoshi and Cantor Lamb, Sunday...
Is that possible, Frank? I mean, is it...
It's probably not possible.
That's what I was hoping you'd say.
Yes.
Good man. If you haven't had enough, what are you going to do Sunday?
Sunday, 3 o'clock.
Sunday.
I was going to do that.
Oh, darn it.
Sunday.
You can
Sunday.
Still do
Go ahead, finish it off.
it. No, you got it.
They're going to be doing a Sunshine Boys. Rabbi Yoshi is a little bit young for that, but...
He plays the nephew.
Oh, okay.
3 p.m., co-sponsored with West Coast Jewish Theater. It's going to be amazing.
So be there or be square.
Thank
Shabbat
you,
shalom.
Frank. Thank you, everybody. We have a concluding song, and we have a very, very special young singer who's joining us, a graduate of our school, Brandon Tavakoli, who's going to be joining Cantor Lamb on the Bima. You can find the words to this song on page 330. This is a beautiful piyut that, say again?
The gala.
Oh, the gala. And also, don't forget the gala on February 3rd. I'm going to be there. You're going to be there. It's going to be amazing. You want to sign up immediately. Brandon, thank you.
I just want to tell you
Don't-
that everybody
the finger.
should be there.
That's
Stop.
the Sunshine Boys, one of the gags.
Stop tapping me with, okay. So, page 330, Yom Zeh Yisrael. It is the Sabbath day that we celebrate.
Yom ze leYisrael, ora v'simcha, ora v'simcha, ora v'simcha, Shabbat menucha, ora v'simcha, ora v'simcha, Shabbat menucha.
Yom ze leYisrael, ora v'simcha, ora v'simcha, ora v'simcha, Shabbat menucha, ora v'simcha, Shabbat menucha.
Yom ze leYisrael, ora v'simcha, ora v'simcha, ora v'simcha, Shabbat menucha, ora v'simcha, Shabbat menucha. Ismach
בראשו נתת לו, נתת לו, נתת לו, כליל בראשו נתת לו, נתת לו, נתת לו.
יום זה לישראל, אורה ושמחה, אורה ושמחה, אורה ושמחה, שבת מנוחה, אורה ושמחה, אורה ושמחה, שבת מנוחה. יום זה לישראל, אורה ושמחה, אורה ושמחה, אורה ושמחה, שבת מנוחה, אורה ושמחה, אורה ושמחה, שבת מנוחה. יום זה לישראל, אורה ושמחה, אורה ושמחה, אורה ושמחה, שבת מנוחה, אורה ושמחה, אורה ושמחה, שבת מנוחה.
So one last thing. When we do this. This is the correct one. Brendan, this is Brendan Tavakoli. Should we just do this one line here the way it's supposed to be done? Yismalach Mo'oishe.
Yismach Mo'oishe.
Ashkenazi Tavakoli. What can I tell you? Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We have an oneg next door. Please join us.